very happy Sunday, a happy, I guess we can call it 4th of July long weekend. Hopefully everyone's doing well. We haven't done a little bit of a video in a little bit of a while just because of free agency, and you can find everything on YouTube as far as what we've done on SportsCenter or on NBA Today, but it is Sunday morning. I guess we can call this, day 2.5 of free agency, and we're going to do a little bit of a recap of kind of what's transpired the last, I guess, couple days. I did this podcast with Zach Lowe yesterday. The Lillard news broke midway. We reacted to that. We did NBA Today, full details on Lillard. We've touched on a lot of different things here. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed the content that we've been able to put out there, whether it be free agent guides or off-season guides or anything, everything that we've been able to put out there and kind of justify why things are happening. And the touchscreens have been, as we do these videos every year, they've been, I love them. They're like a second child to me. But let's do a little bit of a recap. Certainly, we talked Lillard yesterday on Zach's podcast, and we did the trade machines, and we showed all these different cap minutia and what looks good on TV here. Big picture, I've just felt all along that the timeline of where Portland is and where Damian Lillard is just never fit the timeline as far as what he's looking for, and I thought it was going to be extremely hard for them to go out and make a trade. And the one thing I would probably, if I'm critiquing, is that, and I know there was a debate, and me and Perk had a little bit of a, brother disagreement on TV yesterday, is that I just thought last week when Lillard met with Portland that he should have just officially asked to be traded. And I know, I guess we call it a soft ask, and he wanted to see what could have been done. But I just thought that we were eventually going to get to this point, and he should have just kind of just asked out. Nobody would have felt differently about him. He's had a great career, and he continues to have the great career, and he's a terrific person. That is my only minor critique regarding Damian Lillard. As far as the trade packages that we're going to see, certainly we've talked about Miami and Brooklyn and Clippers and Philadelphia. I don't see a two-team trade for Miami and Portland. If there was, it would have happened Saturday night. I like Tyler Hero as a player. I don't think he fits in Portland. I don't see what the benefit of taking on Tyler Hero's 4 years, $120 million contract does to Portland. That is why if this is going to eventually happen, it's going to be a 3 or 4 team trade, whether involving Tyler Hero to a third team and multiple draft assets. I think if you're Portland, your goal is to get 4 first-round picks in this deal, maybe a couple expiring contracts and 1 young player here. I don't think a package of Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, and 2 first-round picks and a pick swap is good enough. That's my honest opinion here. That is why I think you're going to see this thing expand, and you're going to hear a lot more teams. Listen, it's like Newark Airport as far as a long list of planes on the runway of teams waiting to try to jump in here and become 3rd and 4th teams. And I can go on the touchscreen and I can show Miami, Portland all day. But it's not going to happen in that kind of cap minutia. At least I don't think so. Brooklyn, I don't see Brooklyn going all in for Damian Lillard. It's hard for me to see Brooklyn trading 4 first-round picks for Damian Lillard after everything that just happened. I would basically if Brooklyn's involved, I think it would be as a third team, as a facilitator. San Antonio, I've talked about them as a wild card. I got a little bit of a tip during the week, and I've kind of been given breadcrumbs about everything. I think the only way Lillard would want to go there is if there's another veteran going with him. I think where else? The Clippers. I don't see how Paul George does anything for Portland. They don't have a package of trade picks. That's why we're saying it's going to have to expand. Philly. I'm not sure if Philly would trade Tyrese Maxey for Damian Lillard. That's my opinion. That's not me sourcing anyone. Hard to build a team when you have 2 players earning $120 million. So this thing might drag a little bit. This thing will expand a lot. and we're going to be talking a lot about Damian Lillard probably. I think if there's a resolution, maybe we get right until after Summer League or maybe during Summer League. James Harden, I think, is going to drag a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if James Harden is in a Philadelphia uniform when we get to training camp here. Now, how do you handle that? That's another video down the road as far as what happens there. For Philadelphia, what does Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, and Nick Batum in a first in 2030 do for you? You might as well, what does that do for you if you're for Joel Embiid? So if you're Philadelphia, you got to be creative as far as, again, it's hard to see a two-teamer there unless they just want to get rid of James Harden, and I don't think that's the case. Regarding what's left on the board, free agency, it's all about restricted free agents. When you look at, I'm just pulling up the list, when you look at Miles Bridges and Matisse Thybulle and players like that, P.J. Washington, Grant Williams, Paul Reed, those are your better named players. Centers, unrestricted, Christian Wood, Mason Plumlee, players like that. The list has thinned out, and that is being kind as far as what is out there right now. A lot of veteran minimum exceptions, and we'll do another video about the CBA and how it's impacted everything, but I just wanted to do a recap. Let's just do a little rapid fire as far as teams. Last night, Woj broke Domantas Sabonis, renegotiated his contract. I thought that was the direction that Sacramento was going to go. Certainly, we labeled them as a wild card here and a little bit of a tease. And they kind of brought back, Harrison Barnes, they Trey Lyles, Sasha Vezenkov, who they got actually from Cleveland as part of the James Harden trade that went to Brooklyn. Interesting for that. They wind up acquiring him a year ago, and then they wind up. We'll see how they structure their cap as far as room mid-level, or if they use room on them. But Sabonis gets extension. Renegotiation and extension. Renegotiation means that his salary gets bumped up right around 30.6, and then he gets extended out. New CBA certainly has helped him, and I thought it was a good summer for Sacramento so far here. It's hard, we throw around cap space a lot, and Kyle Kuzma or Draymond Green, sometimes just keeping within instead of bringing a player out from another organization is more beneficial here. But let's just do rapid fire here. Let's see what we got. I thought Cleveland did really nice when you look at Max Strus in a sign and trade, George Niang, Damian Jones, Ty Jerome, kind of build out that bench that we saw in the playoffs against New York. The Strus sign and trade, a benefit of the new collective bargaining agreement. They are, they're under the luxury. There's a lot of teams out there that are right under that $165 million luxury tax. There's a ton that is just straddling that. And it's what this new CBA has done. It's forced teams. Listen, every team thinks and is creative, but it makes you really become creative and manage your books extremely, extremely close. I thought, certainly Dallas, I thought the Kyrie number was, I was comfortable with that. 3 years at 126. I like Seth Curry. Dante Exum will be interesting, who played extremely well over in Europe. We'll see what else they can do. They still have a little bit of their mid-level exception left. Denver, we thought all along, Bruce Brown, it would have been hard for him to go. Congratulations for 2 years, 45 for Bruce Brown. It's a great number. But now it's going to be about their young kids. Christian Brown, Peyton. I'm interested to see Peyton Watson in Vegas, Julian Strawther, Jalen Pickett, Hunter Tyson. That is kind of going to be your bench as far as young group of player. They signed Reggie Jackson back, I had Reggie as a veteran minimum, about $5 million. That's a little bit of a steep tag. You saw the trend, and I've talked about it, about teams kind of renting cap space. You saw it with Detroit, Joe Harris and Monty Morris, two veterans that can help you. But instead of going out and spending $30 million on one guy and on a $120 million, you rent cap space. You got to get to 90% of the cap which is the minimum salary floor by the first day of the regular season, or there is a penalty, a significant penalty where you can only get half of tax distribution, and that difference basically acts as a hold. You can't go into into regular season with $30 million in cap space. That day and age is over. Draymond's number is really good, 4 for 100. Certainly saves them some money. We'll see how they build out their bench. That's going to be important. Houston, the wild card of teams, went on Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet. My only critique with Houston is they basically whiffed on some of these draft picks, and I think they admitted it, whether it be Ty Washington or Josh Christopher or Usan Garaba, players they've picked in the last couple of years here who went out and traded here. But we look forward, and I like what they did with VanVleet, and I like what they did with Dylan Brooks, and they've certainly accelerated. On paper, we'll see what happens. On paper, I like VanVleet and Brooks, and then some of the sprinkle in. It's going to be about how these young kids develop. Indiana, Bruce Brown, we talked about, to Obi Toppin, which is nice. Take a flyer on him. I think Chris Duarte is going to go to Sacramento. Westbrook back to the Clippers. Of course, we're going to hear all about the Clippers, and whether it be Damian Lillard, I don't think. James Harden, we will see. Lakers, A+. I've gone on national TV. I hope Laker fans they love me now because they think I always talk negatively about their team. But when you do good things, you get good credit. A+ for the Lakers. I love everything they did about them. Their own players, Reeves, Hachimura, Russell, outside of their own group, Vincent, Reddish, Prince, Jackson Hayes. Extremely, extremely strong offseason for the Los Angeles Lakers. Second best team in the Western Conference behind Denver. Sorry, Phoenix. Memphis, we saw the Desmond Bane. We're not going to go into every team here. Miami's going to be interesting. Keep an eye on them, right? They lose Vincent. They lose Max Strus. Two older players in Kevin Love and Josh Richardson. Let's keep an eye on as far as what happens in Miami. Milwaukee had to go out and overpay Brook Lopez, 2 for 48. It's a huge number. They cannot lose him. Chris Middleton, I thought, as I said, when you opt out and then at a 40, there's something waiting for you. So 3 for 102 is something that's waiting for you here. What else do we got? Philly, kind of in a holding pattern. Pat Bev on the vet minimum. Portland, we talked about regarding Damian Lillard. That Jeremy Grant number is monster. But remember, the cap goes up 10% each year. It looks a little bit better. And Grant's not like he's 32, 33. He's a 29-year-old player. But it's interesting how he fits with a retooling of this roster. Talked about Sack. Really liked what Sack did. San Antonio is still sitting on a boatload of money, about $23 million. I like the Trey Jones signing. It's a good value deal. Cedi Osman and Lamar Stevens utilizing cap space. I rent cap space, but two players that can help you. Toronto's going to be interesting. Toronto's the next wild card. They lose Van Vliet. They still have Schroeder. What do you do with Pascal Siakam? You signed Jakob Poeltl, OG Anunoby. So Siakam and Anunoby going into the last year of their contract. Anunoby's got a player option. Both are extension eligible. Where does that roster go? They signed Jalen McDaniels. Utah, with the trade, we talked about John Collins last week. The Wizards, Kuzma, it's a good number. Kuzma, their cap ledger is terrific. I mean, like, if you get excited about cap ledgers, $135 million in salary with those two players, and it's basically Poole and Kuzma and a bunch of players from $14 to $2 million. So that is it, a little bit of it in a nutshell here. We'll have more videos as we progress through free agency here, but I kind of wanted to go through a little bit of the Lillard timeline. I would not expect anything quick on this. I would not expect anything quick on Harden. As we said, Lillard is going to take time as far as for this to expand. Really like the Lakers. I can't talk about how much, listen, we live in an off season when it's the honeymoon period and it's everything looks great on paper. But they did a really good job. I thought Minnesota did a good job as far as, just some of the tweaks there. I thought Phoenix really did a good job as far as, listen, Damian Lee, Keita Bates-Diop, Yuta Watanabe, Chimezie Metu, Josh Okogie, Drew Eubanks. Like, they had a plan, and they got out of the gates, and they basically said to agents, we've got the veteran minimum, take it or leave it, or we're going to move on. And you saw, you rarely see veteran minimum guys come off the board right at 6:30 on the first day of the moratorium. But I thought Phoenix did a really, really, really nice job as far as getting younger but experience as far as the bench goes. And it will be interesting to see how this all works here. But that's all I got on a Sunday. I'm going on TV in an hour to do more touchscreens. Hopefully that thing doesn't blow or smoke starts coming out of there. We can only do 3-team trades on a touchscreen. So people are saying, why can't you do 4 and 5? We can only do 3. And yesterday, and I'll end this real quick, I was so tired. I had gotten 2 hours sleep, and I was so tired. And then the Lillard news broke, and we're like, okay, we're going on TV in an hour. And I was like, man, I just want to write and do my updates and everything like that. And I'm doing there, and it's remember that game when we were younger, and you'd spin around with a bat, and you'd you wait, you stand up, and you fall down and stuff. That's how I felt after doing a 3-team trade. So when people say, well, oh my God, they would never do that. What I'm trying to show people is that how hard it is to make trades and what teams have there, not what I would do here. But everyone have a great Sunday. We will talk soon. Not many free agents left on the board, all those restricted players, and have a terrific 4th of July.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.